Have you ever wondered why so many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond suddenly start waking up at 3 a.m.? It happens quietly, sometimes without any warning. One night you're sleeping peacefully, and then, for no clear reason, your eyes open wide in the early hours of the morning. The house is silent, the world is still, yet your mind feels awake in a way that doesn't match the darkness around you. For many older adults, this experience becomes strangely familiar. You may fall asleep easily, only to find yourself waking at the same exact time night after night. You check the clock, hoping it's close to morning. But no, it's always around 3 a.m. And what makes it more unsettling is that you don't feel tired enough to drift back into sleep right away. Instead, your thoughts begin to wander, and the night feels longer than it should. What most people don't realize is that this pattern is far more common than they think, and it isn't a sign of something wrong. It's part of a natural shift that happens in the body as we grow older. The systems that once kept sleep deep and steady begin to change. Hormones adjust, internal rhythms shift, and the brain interprets nighttime cues differently than it once did. But here's the important part. Waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't have to feel frightening, frustrating, or confusing. When you understand the reasons behind it, something remarkable happens. The night becomes less mysterious, your mind becomes calmer, and the experience loses its power to disturb you. In this video, we'll uncover the real reasons why people over 60 wake up between 2 and 4 a.m., and how these quiet moments can be managed or even transformed into something peaceful. Let's begin with the first reason, one that starts deep inside the body's chemistry. One of the most common reasons people over 60 wake up around 3 a.m. is the natural decline of sleep-regulating hormones, especially the ones responsible for keeping sleep deep and uninterrupted. When we're younger, the brain produces these hormones in strong, consistent waves. They guide the body gently through each stage of sleep, allowing long, peaceful rest. But as the years pass, these waves become lighter and more fragile. Melatonin, the hormone that signals the body to stay asleep, decreases with age. It's not that your body suddenly stops producing it. It simply produces less than before. This means that the deep sleep you once slipped into so easily now has more breaks, more surface-level moments where your mind becomes aware of the world around you. Those small windows of light sleep are exactly where a 3 a.m. awakening can slip through. But there's another factor most people overlook: cortisol. This is the hormone tied to alertness. In younger adults, cortisol rises slowly before sunrise, preparing the body to wake up naturally. But for older adults, this rise can begin earlier. So when cortisol nudges upward at 3 a.m., even gently, the brain interprets it as a signal to wake up. The result is a strange tug-of-war. Melatonin dipping too early and cortisol rising too soon. Together, they create a brief moment where the mind becomes alert, even though the night isn't over. This is why many seniors wake up feeling aware but not anxious, awake but not fully rested. The important thing to remember is that this isn't a failure of the body. It's a shift, a natural transition that happens with age. And once you understand it, the experience becomes less alarming. You begin to see that your body isn't working against you. It's simply adjusting to a new pattern. Next, let's explore the second reason. A change in the internal clock that every older adult experiences, even if they don't notice it. Another major reason people over 60 find themselves waking up around 3 a.m. is a natural shift in the internal body clock, also known as the circadian rhythm. This internal clock is what tells your body when to feel sleepy, when to wake up, and how deeply to rest. But as we age, this clock slowly begins to reset itself, often without us noticing. In younger years, the body's rhythm is steady and predictable. It encourages sleep later in the evening and helps you stay asleep until morning. But with age, this rhythm moves earlier. You may start feeling sleepy sooner, sometimes even before you want to. And while falling asleep earlier seems harmless, it can create a ripple effect through the night. If you drift off at 9 p.m. instead of 11 p.m., your body may naturally complete its major sleep cycles earlier too. So when 3 a.m. arrives, your internal clock may interpret it as a kind of mini-morning. Even though the world outside is still dark and quiet, this doesn't mean your sleep is done. It simply means your rhythm has shifted ahead. Some seniors describe this awakening as peaceful, others as unsettling, but most agree it feels strangely consistent. That's because the internal clock is incredibly precise. Once it adjusts to an earlier schedule, your body tends to repeat the pattern night after night. Environmental factors can amplify this shift. Less exposure to daylight, quieter evenings, reduced physical activity, and changes in routine all signal the internal clock to move forward. Even retirement can influence this shift, because the structure that once anchored your day is no longer there. Understanding this rhythm change can bring a sense of comfort. It reminds you that the 3 a.m. awakening isn't random. It's your body following a new pattern, one that naturally comes with age. And with simple lifestyle adjustments, this rhythm can become smoother and far less disruptive. Next, let's look at the third reason, something physical, something many seniors feel but rarely connect to those early morning awakenings. Another often overlooked reason seniors find themselves awake at 3 a.m. is the body's natural increase in light, fragmented sleep as we grow older. When you were younger, your nights were filled with long stretches of deep, restorative sleep. That deep sleep acted like an anchor, keeping you firmly resting throughout the night. But as the years pass, the amount of deep sleep slowly decreases, and lighter sleep becomes more common. This shift doesn't mean anything is wrong. It's simply how the aging brain adjusts. Deep sleep cycles become shorter, and the lighter stages of sleep become longer. And lighter sleep makes you far more sensitive to even the smallest disruptions. A distant sound, a change in temperature, or even a shift in your breathing pattern can gently pull you out of sleep at the same time every night. Many seniors describe this awakening as sudden, almost as if someone quietly tapped them on the shoulder. In truth, it's the brain doing exactly what it's designed to do during lighter sleep, staying slightly alert, slightly aware, slightly awake. On top of that, the body's sleep architecture becomes less predictable with age. You may fall asleep easily, but staying asleep becomes the challenge. You may wake up without a clear reason, your mind feeling alert even though your body still needs rest. And because this happens repeatedly, your brain begins treating 3 a.m. like a habitual checkpoint. Environmental changes that never bothered you before can become sleep disruptors now. A hallway light, the hum of a fan, the click of a distant appliance. Things your younger self would sleep right through can suddenly interrupt your rest. Understanding this change doesn't fix the problem immediately, but it helps remove the fear that something unusual is happening. Lighter sleep is a normal stage of aging. And once you recognize it, you can make small adjustments that help strengthen your rest, deepen your nights, and reduce the number of midnight awakenings. Next, let's look at an emotional factor, one that often begins quietly but plays a much larger role in early morning wake-ups than most people realize. Another subtle but powerful reason seniors often find themselves awake at 3 a.m. is the mind's growing tendency to process unresolved emotions during the quietest hours of the night. In the daytime, your mind stays busy, conversations, routines, small tasks, small distractions. All these things act like gentle noise, keeping deeper thoughts in the background. But at 3 a.m., when the world is still and the house is silent, that noise disappears. What's left is the quiet. And in that quiet, the mind finally has the space to bring forward worries, reflections, or memories it hasn't had time to process. Many seniors describe this experience the same way. It's like my thoughts wake me up before my body does. Not loud thoughts, not stressful shouting, just gentle concerns surfacing softly. A family issue, a future decision, a past memory, a sense of uncertainty, or even the simple awareness of time moving forward. Aging brings wisdom, but it also brings more reflection. You think about loved ones, your health, your responsibilities, your plans, your regrets, your hopes. None of these thoughts need to be negative to become disruptive. Even harmless reflection can make the mind alert at the wrong moment. And because the early morning brain is naturally more sensitive, these small thoughts feel bigger, clearer, and harder to put aside. What would feel like normal thinking during the day becomes deep, vivid focus at night. Over time, your brain may even start connecting this emotional processing with the same hour, creating a habit loop. Wake up, think, stay awake longer than you want. This doesn't mean you're stressed or anxious. It simply means your mind is active, aware, and trying to make sense of things during the only quiet time it finds. The good news is that once you understand this pattern, you can gently retrain your mind to handle emotional processing during the day rather than at 3 a.m. Another reason many seniors find themselves awake at 3 a.m. is the body's natural shift toward lighter, more fragile sleep cycles with age. While younger adults often move through deep sleep stages effortlessly, older adults tend to spend more time in lighter sleep. This means the smallest disturbance, a change in breathing, a shift in temperature, a distant sound, or even a minor dream, can gently pull you awake without warning. This isn't a flaw in your body. It's a normal part of aging. As we grow older, our sleep becomes more like a series of short journeys rather than one long, uninterrupted trip. The brain becomes more aware of its surroundings, almost as if it wants to keep you safe by staying lightly alert. Waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong. It may simply mean your sleep rhythm has changed. The key is what happens next. Some people wake up, feel calm, and drift back to sleep naturally. Others wake up with awareness, noticing the time, noticing their thoughts, noticing their body, and that awareness makes falling back asleep more difficult. The mind becomes active quicker than the body can relax. Many seniors describe it the same way. I didn't wake up because something was wrong. I stayed awake because my mind turned on too fast. And once alertness kicks in, it becomes easy to start thinking about plans, worries, memories, or even simple observations. This gentle mental activity builds just enough wakefulness to keep sleep away. Understanding this pattern can be incredibly reassuring. It reminds you that waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't signal danger. It signals sensitivity, a body that listens, a mind that notices, a rhythm that has shifted with time. With the right evening habits, calming routines, and gentle daytime mental engagement, you can teach your body to settle more deeply at night. But the first step is awareness, and now you already have that.